Did you know that you could get a pay raise today? Yes, today. But Kay, we're in a pandemic. There's no movement in the job market. People are losing their jobs, I hear you say. Well, stick around because in this video, I'm going to show you how you can get that pay raise and take steps towards moving to a brighter future. Hi guys, thank you for joining me today. For all my subscribers, I really appreciate you. And for all the first timers, thanks for stopping by. So normally, to get a pay rise, you'd have to do 3 things. 1, negotiate or ask your boss for a pay rise. And typically you'd normally do this at the annual appraisal. And men are normally much better at doing this than women. In fact, a 2018 study has shown that in the UK, of the companies that took part in this research, in 74% of those companies, men got higher salary than women. In 15% of those companies, women got higher. And in 11%, there was no difference. In that same study, it also showed that for a given role, men got 8% more per hour than women. The second way to get a pay rise is to threaten to leave if you don't get a pay rise. Well, this is often done and sometimes we see that it's successful, but the warning here is that if you are not willing to follow through with your threat, this is not an option that should be considered. Because if your boss does not give in to your demand, then you would look foolish if you stayed. And also if you stayed, you'd get frustrated and then it would show in your performance. And I don't think that's a good look. The third way often used to get a pay rise is to move jobs. So again, studies have shown that on average, when one moves jobs or move companies, you could get a pay increase of about 15 to 35%. How much of that range you get will depend on the number of factors, such as how well you know the job market in order to be able to negotiate well your pay rise. It also depends on if the company, for your role, what the company pay range is. Because if you're coming in from a place where you are at the high end of that pay grade for the industry, it is unlikely that you are going to get a significant increase to move to a different company. Although you would get some level of increase. Normally, the higher your pay is, the less increase you'd get when you move jobs. Studies have shown that executives, those in executive position, when they move job, they're normally getting 25% or less. So they're not going to the 35% increase. So how do I get a pay raise quickly without having to muster up the courage to go and talk to my boss about this pay raise that no one really wants to talk about? Make empty threats to my boss hoping that they would cave in and give me a pay rise. Glad you asked, because I'm going to share with you one thing that you can do now to get a pay rise. It is something that is often overlooked, and I myself have been guilty of doing that as well. So, to quickly get a pay raise, the one thing you can do now is to join a pension scheme. I know, it's so simple, right? So simple that right this moment some of you might want to start clicking off. But before you do that, just bear with me and watch this video till the end. Because in a few minutes, I am going to show you how joining a pension scheme can give you a pay raise right now. A pension is pretty much a way for you to stash away or save money towards your retirement. The good thing about a pension is that you often get tax relief from the government. And so you tend to pay in before tax money into your pension, and normally your employers also make a contribution as well. In the UK, if you are age 22 plus and earn about £10,000, you are automatically enrolled in your company's pension scheme. And according to government guidelines, the minimum amount that the employer will need to put in is 3%. And if they put in the 3%, you would then have to put in 5% to make it to an 8% contribution level, which the government wants everybody to start contributing. So some employers offer much more than this. Take, for example, the National Health Service, NHS England. They are one of the world's largest employers, and they tend to make a contribution of 14.38%. And this number, I've been told, is scheduled to increase to about 20%. But at the moment, it is 14.38%. And here you can see a range of contribution that if you worked for this company, that you would be required to contribute. So if you fall within the 15 to 21k income bracket, you would have to pay 5.6% contribution. But your employer, the NHS, would pay 14.38%. That is just a little bit shy of 20% that you'd be paying. If you were one of the higher income earners at the bottom of the pay grade tier that they have, the total contribution you'd be putting in, when you combine their 14.38 plus yours, would be about 30%. That is just amazing. If we also look at another company in the UK, the supermarket chain Tesco. Well, Tesco offers a matching scheme where they contribute, if you join their pension scheme, they will contribute between 4% and 7.5%. And so if you put in 4%, they will put in 4%. If you put in 7.5% and above, they will put in 7.5%. So if you're working on the shop floors in Tesco, or if you're in management, this applies to you. And I'm so sure there is so much more much more companies in the UK and worldwide that actually does a matching scheme, or they're very generous with their pension so long as you join it. So I say all this to say that just by joining the pension scheme, you automatically get a minimum of 3% pay rise. Not convinced? Okay, let's take it a step further. I know some of you have questions, but Kay, it's taking money out of my pocket if I join this pension scheme. Because if I have to put 5% and they're putting 3%, or however much percent they're putting, I'm still losing 5%. And I say yes. But it shouldn't be classified as a loss, because the ultimate aim of a pension scheme is to actually help you save towards retirement. And so, yes, your disposable income, your spendable money, your or take home pay will be less, but it won't go to waste. It will be put into a saving investment pot, which would hopefully grow to a significant amount to ensure that your current lifestyle is not affected in later life. So, to give you further illustration and put this in monetary terms, how the pension works, I'll use UK again as an example, but it's the same principle that's used in countries across around the globe. If we just look at how much it will cost you, I want to show you that it doesn't put you as much out of pocket as you think. And I'm going to use UK as an example. First, we have to look at the tax rate in the UK. So currently, the tax rate, I'll put it here, is if you earn less than 12,500, you don't pay any taxes on any of that. If you earn between 12,500 and 50,000, you fall into what they call the basic tax rate. And so you would pay 20%. If you earn above 50,000 up to 150,000, you're in the higher tax rate bracket and you pay 40%. And then there's another category, which is, I call the higher tax. And that's when you earn above £150,000. And in that scenario, you pay 45%. Okay, so bear that in mind. So if we look at also, so if we use the example that you are in a company that makes only 3% contribution and you put in 5%. So we're going to use that example. And let's look at, for every £100 that you put in, if you are a basic taxpayer, it only costs you £80. How did I get this £80? Well, if your tax rate is 20% and you are putting in before tax money, you get the government relief on that 20%. 20% of 100 is 20. And so the actual cost to you is £80. But in your pension contribution, it will be shown as 100. It's the bit the government adds. And then if your employer is putting 3%, that would be around £60. If you're a higher tax rate payer in the 40% tax bracket, then to put in £100, you would effectively be out of pocket by £60 because there's a tax relief of 40%. So in a year, if you continued to make that £100 contribution, in a year you would have, as a basic taxpayer, you would have put £960 into your pension, but the total amount that would be in your pension would be £1,920. And if you do the maths on that, you see that you only put in half of what's in your pension pot. I'll give you a moment to let it sink in, because you can't do better on that. Because if somebody came to you and said, I will give you £1,000, right? If you give me £1,000, at the end of the year, you are gonna have £2,000. I'm sure you'd be looking to take that deal, right? If this video has been useful to you, please give it a thumbs up. And if you think this may be of a benefit to someone else, please share. And let me know in the comments if you're thinking of starting a pension, or if you're already on one and you've seen the growth of it over a number of years. So thank you again for watching, and see you in the next one.